Right, morning guys. Now this is one I've wanted to do for a while because it's West Ham. Got a big soft spot for West Ham and Fulham now with Smith Rowe, Iwobi, Leno. But this is about West Ham. Now, what West Ham are doing in the transfer market this summer is mind-blowing. It really is. They are making some amazing signings, and originally what I normally do is when I do my predictions for the season, I normally do it when the previous season finishes, and then as the transfer window goes on, I sort of make changes depending on the transfers. So I originally had West Ham 11th, but now after the signings they've made lately, I've currently put them 9th. I've put them 9th, but could they surprise a few people and maybe go even higher than 9th? Of course they could, and it wouldn't surprise me. But I feel like there's still teams like Villa and Spurs and United, Chelsea, Newcastle, who I feel West Ham need to get to, that they need to get to that level. And just because they've signed a few players doesn't mean they'll definitely get to that level. But it's looking promising. And this comes on the back of Fullkrug making the £27 million move. It's done. He's a West Ham player. Summerville's a West Ham player. Wan-Bissaka is very close to being a West Ham player. Kilman's come in. They've just been linked with Mats Hummels as well, which is mental. They've also got that youngster from Brazil, the 18-year-old who they signed for big money, right winger. We don't know anything about him, but if they're signing an 18-year-old for that kind of money, then he must be a good player. So listen, let's go for it. I thought it would be good to do a West Ham preview. So that's my preview. I think they'll come 9th, but the world's the oyster this season. They could do whatever they want this season with the players they've bought. They've already got good players at the club. It all depends. Is Paqueta going to stay at West Ham? I think he probably will. Kudus was also linked with a move away. I've always felt that Jared Bowen would be a Liverpool player. I've always felt that if Liverpool ever needed to replace Salah, I'm looking around who can get those goals from right wing, who's a goal machine, but is not a striker as a right winger. You'd have to say Jared Bowen. But Liverpool don't seem to be interested in Jared Bowen. So as far as West Ham are concerned, he's a West Ham player. But you look at their team now. Areola in goal. Pretty good goalkeeper. I'm looking at the right-back situation. Sofao is still there. Whether he'll still be there, I don't know. But he's a very dependable right-back. But Wan-Bissaka could be their right-back. Now, Wan-Bissaka for Man United, I don't think is of that level technically. But for a West Ham, this guy could do business. He's definitely good enough for West Ham. And then you look at the centre-backs. You've got Agard, Zuma, but now they've got Max Kilman. So they've got 3 very good centre-backs. Ogbonna's left, but those are 3 very good centre-backs to choose from. I think Lopetegui will play 4 at the back, so it's either one of those 3 will miss out. And then left-back, they've got Emerson, Aaron Cresswell, or even Kilman could play left-back. You never know. There's so many things West Ham can do in defence. And then you look at the midfield. They had to replace Declan Rice last year, which wasn't easy. So they brought in a couple of players to try and help the situation. Souček's still there, still a key part. And then you've got Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. I think only 2 of them can play as well, just like the defence. I think the way Lopetegui wants to play, I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. I can't see all 3 of them playing. I think it will be a waste if all 3 of them play, because you've got the attacking talent, which we'll get into, that West Ham have got. I don't think you can play all 3 of those central midfielders. I think you play 2 of them, and then you look forward. You've got Paqueta in the 10. Paqueta in the 10, not a bad option. And then out wide, they've got a whole array of options. Jared Bowen could play on the right. They've got that young player from Brazil who can play on the right as well. And then you look on the left, they've got Kudus, and now they've got Summerville as well. Fullkrug up front. It means that Antonio doesn't need to play many games. Bowen could play up front as well. That means you could play Kudus and Summerville on the wings. And West Ham don't seem to be done yet. They seem to be wanting more players. And I hope they don't get too many players, because I think sometimes you've got to know when to stop. It's quality, not quantity. And also, I've even forgot Cornet is still there, I think. I think Cornet is still there, and he's a pretty good player as well. So West Ham are looking very, very strong. And I'm excited to see what they can do this season, because I've always had a soft spot for West Ham, always. There's just something about West Ham that's just, it's special, and you always want to see West Ham in the Premier League, and they are going to do some really serious stuff this season. I've got a feeling. I think they've really strengthened well. Am I putting West Ham too low, putting them ninth? I don't know. But I look around the team. Lopetegui is a very accomplished manager. You saw he done well at Wolves as well. It's a shame he didn't see that one out. But this is a guy that's managed Spain. He's managed Real Madrid. This ain't a mug. This is a very serious manager. And Max Kilman, he'll know from Wolves. So that was clearly a signing of him knowing the player. And he must rate him very highly to pay that kind of money. I do think it's a lot of money for Max Kilman, but he's a good player. You know, if we look at potential England players in 2 years, there is no reason why Kilman can't break into that. There's no reason. If Lopetegui could try him at left back, very similar to the way that Arteta's playing left backs, you know, he's playing centre backs at left back. If Lopetegui can play him at left back, that could be a long-term potential option for England. I think he's definitely got the attributes to do it. If we get a smart manager in who can adapt to the times, you know, normally centre-backs are playing full-backs now and it's a normal thing. If that manager can adapt to the times, then you could see Kilman in an England shirt at left-back. He's a very, very underrated player. He's not underrated anymore because he was signed for a lot of money, but West Ham have done well, honestly. I think they're going to have a good season. I've put them ninth, but there's no reason why they can't finish higher. I cannot see them finishing out of the top half. I think this is them. They're going to be a very serious team next year, and I'm excited for them. I think West Ham are looking good.